We all know that COVID-19 is threatening the world. In the past couple of months, our lives have changed. In Japan, the government declared a state of emergency for the first time and warned us not to go outside unless necessary. Most universities have started classes online and are planned to keep them this way till summer. Because we are experiencing an unfamiliar education style, we wondered how universities besides Japan are dealing with classes. We interviewed students from all over the world on how COVID-19 changed their university lives. This is what they told us.
Fortunately, our university had like the Microsoft Teams and all this like package, so they were pretty prepared, I would say. Almost all of the classes started normally, like all the lectures were on the Microsoft Teams, or mostly something like this. But also some of the teachers only sent us the presentations and told us, yeah, okay, so please learn from this.
There were a lot of questions about how the exams would go. Most of them ended up being essay-based, and obviously we couldn't really sit in an exam, so we basically just did everything online, which I'm pretty thankful for, to be honest. But and yeah, the few classes that I had was held on Zoom, and people would just connect through there.
They start their own software. We can see the students and the teachers, and they make us do online tests and projects, like lots of projects, and it's getting, tired. I hate doing projects, and it's like unfair for people because there are softwares that you can buy that solve these online tests, right? So some people can't buy that, and it's an unfair solution right now. Yeah, and talking to our teachers is harder now because they are old, so they don't look at their mail that much.
So school has changed in the sense that we have all of our lectures through Zoom instead of in person. And beside that, it's like I'm lucky to have a course right now that is very like independent work. In our school system, we have like one course at a time normally. Well, it depends on what you study. But I study urban planning, and we take like one course and then you finish that and you do the next one. So it's been pretty convenient in that sense that we're writing like a mini thesis right now. So it's a lot of like independent work. All over Sweden, schools are distance learning.
Now let's hear from Japanese students who study abroad but temporarily return to Japan due to COVID-19 takes university classes.
So my classes have all become online as I'm in Tokyo, and everyone is like in different places. I think one of the main challenges has been like motivating myself because like it's not a classroom setting anymore, and also a lot of people are in different time zones. So all the Asian and like European time zone students are in one section, whereas like the American students are in the different section. So our classes, which were already small, they were like 15 people per class. Now it's like 7 people per class. So it's really difficult to like not compromise the content of the classes. For example, like one of the classes I had was global education, and we would talk about like, for example, like American education, and like talking about that probably is much richer when you have students from America studying in America, whereas like my section which was like Asian students and European students, like we don't know as much and we don't have like insight that they have. So it's like really difficult because content sometimes gets compromised.
So all the classes were online, but then because of the time difference, I actually have a 13 time difference between Massachusetts and Tokyo. So I did the recording for most of my classes, and depends on which class you're attending. But then for some of the smaller classes, because I'm in the liberal arts college, where a normal class size is like 30 people. We divided that 30 people class into like 5 sections, which would be like 5 per each. group. And then we would preview the material from the textbook and the recorded lecture by ourselves. And then we would discuss about the questions that came up during our 1 hour discussion class. And that's how we got graded, for those classes. But that's pretty much it.
Classes moved officially online, I think, end of March. So I was like on March 16th. And from then on, it was all online. So based on the teacher and the professor, I guess, it just depended on if your professor was more into doing online classes live. So that meant that you had to be there during that time, or they would just post videos. So one of my professors would post videos of the class online so we could look at it whenever. But some of my professors, especially for language classes, I took French for my first year. So for those classes, it was basically online live. I returned to Japan right after it was announced that classes would be going online. So for me, I had to wait around like until 1 a.m. in the morning to get online to take that course.
So actually, our educational system is similar with Japan with the total maximum score 4.0. And for the grading, we will do it with online platforms such as Zoom and also Google Meet, because sometimes Zoom cannot be used, so we must have like another way how we can meet online, so we use Zoom. And for the grading itself, our university used the online platform to do the test. So basically they will use the multiple choices test. So it will prevent us to searching for more answer online or something like that. But actually, many students like still searching the answer online and also ask some like the questions to their friends when they do the test or something like that, because it's preventable.
It's as usual, but I think it's different from you guys. Our grading system is like, let's say 100 people enters the exam, right? You get grade for, you're the fifth best student in the exam. If you are the fifth best student in the exam, you get C. Our grading system is like that. You're in a line. So they changed that. Now only grades, if you get a, 80 out of 100, you get a B. It wasn't like that used to. It wasn't like, I remember I got a 50 points out of 100 score exam, and I was like the top of my class, so I got an A. That works like that.
Now let's hear from students who go to the universities where grading system changed due to the changes in class settings.
For the grading system, especially UBC just really kind of put it on the faculties to decide on how the grading system would change. For me, I'm in the Faculty of Arts. So for us, the Faculty of Arts made it to where we could credit fail. And that means, so there's no grade, it's just a pass or fail. So you don't, if your grade isn't that well and it goes against your GPA, then you can basically do a credit or fail, and that'll basically give you a pass. So it goes with your credit, it goes towards your credit. So that was for all classes that we could do. For me personally, I didn't have the need to do that, but some of my friends I know did credit fail their course. So that just gave them a credit. And for the exams, I guess, for the final exam, some of our professors made it mandatory, but some made it optional. So we could take it and then decide to drop it at the end if our grade wasn't that great, or we had to decide beforehand if we wanted to take the exam or not. If we wanted to, then we had to. If we didn't, then we didn't have to. So it was really, for us in the Faculty of Arts at UBC, very lenient and regarding to like how exams and how grading would work in the end.
So my grading system was supposed to be a letter grade, which is like A, B, C, D, F. But then it will change to pass and fail, mandatory pass and fail. And in the case where if like you have to apply to medical school where it demands the letter grades, then you would be able to give the letter grades because the teacher saved it somewhere in the middle, which is the system that we use for our grading system. So we are able to look at it, but then it's a mandatory pass and fail, yeah.
So for NYU, we usually So freshmen get this like system where it's called freshman year like grade covering policy, and basically we have an unofficial transcript and an official transcript, and freshman grades are covered in the official transcript no matter what you do. But this year they made it so that you can choose, even sophomores and juniors can choose to opt into that unofficial transcript like grade covered policy, so that when you submit your official transcript to say like a grad school or like your future employer, your official transcript like doesn't show the semester where coronavirus happened, which is like really, it's a good system because a lot of people are struggling and they have struggled, and you can opt into that, or you can pass fail classes, which is like you don't get a letter grade, it's just like if you passed or if you failed. You could also drop your class, and yeah, if you drop a class, it shows as a withdrawal or a fail, but you can also cover that with the grading policy. So they became really flexible, and that was all throughout NYU. So like all the global sites and New York, Shanghai, Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
We found out that 4 universities have each way of continuing classes and grading students, but all are considerate to the students for them to adapt to the changes in university life. We don't know how long the situation is going to last. However, we hope we can cope with the situation and take action as much as possible with what we have right now.